playfulness, codependency right in the center, and then pay attention to the red flags right there. Nothing to worry about. Like don't get worried about this. It's just interesting information. The more that you can be kind of have the sense of fascination and curiosity about these energies, as opposed to fear and worry, it's much more expansive because you can't be fearful and fascinated at the same time. So when you can kind of begin to look at the energies as they come in with a more of a curious eye and a bit more fascination, it just expands your energy, and it helps loosen up the energy, and it gives you a little bit of a sense of distance to where you can look at your life and the energies with more love and less fear, which is a big message for you, especially with this ego here and the codependency. But let me get one more card for you. Actually, I wanted to start. So we have this balance card right above the playfulness card. So lovely, mirroring one another, right? Balance, a sense of working hard but having play, a sense of equanimity, serenity. You're not getting swayed too far either way into joy or into fear. You're coming right back to the center, really beginning to understand what a powerful message this is for you, and a pattern that you are being asked to continue to work on during this time period, Scorpio. And then we have this sense of play, right? Here they are on the swing, masculine and feminine together in this place of playfulness, this place of joy, like a child, not worrying about fear, not worrying, getting all caught up in anxiety. And it says, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So just spend a little bit of time here, Scorpio, looking at these energies and seeing how they work together to create this sense of balance, to where they're not feeling worried or even too much joy, because a lot of times when we have the ego and the codependency, it's like very hard, intense energy where you want to get caught. You feel as though you have to have something to feel something else, is kind of how it's coming across very strongly here. And so for many of you Scorpios, it may not necessarily be that there is a codependency in terms of an addiction on a substance, alcoholism, drugs, that kind of thing. It can also be referencing sexual addiction, this kind of thing. But it doesn't have to mean that. The ego card and the codependency card are very much saying to you, Scorpio, that whenever we place our sense of happiness, our sense of joy, or our sense of fulfillment in something outside of ourselves, and we feel like that, once we pull that thing in, then we will have that sense of balance and serenity. It never ever works that way, not long lasting. It's always a temporary fix to what you are seeking inside of yourself, which is that internal sense of balance, that internal sense of serenity and peace and joy that comes quietly from within and is revealed more and more in your external world. And so right here, there's a big message for you that you are beginning to address this more and more, and being encouraged to look at it, not out of fear, but out of fascination. Like, how does this energy play in my life right now? How does it come in? And you can look at it, Scorpio, in terms of, is there someone? Is this being represented in the form of an individual who I'm always feeling like I have to chase, who I'm always worried and anxious about? Is it showing up in terms of too much partying, too many sexual partners without any sense of inner fulfillment? It's all being coming up here to look at and to begin to change and to bring into balance because of this energy here. And doing so with a sense of play as opposed to fear will be really, really beneficial for you, Scorpio. And then we have this 10 of spring and the pay attention to the red flags. So again, so beautifully balanced here for you. I think it's really funny the way it's so balanced in terms of the romance cards and the fairy tarot, just mirroring one another here. The 10 of spring, right? The sense of burnout, the sense of, too much work, too many responsibilities, too much, it can be fear and worry as well, but just a sense of fatigue, general sense of fatigue. But what's really nice is that it's a 10 energy, so you are in the middle with the change energy. You're bringing things into balance, and with the 10, you're going to flip into the 1, right? Because when we get rid of the 0, we're left with 1. So it is the maximum amount of kind of burned outness in a lot of ways, but it's leading to something that's much more satisfying. And then you're being asked here to pay attention to the red flags. And this is like kind of saying to you, Scorpio, like, how are you allowing the sense of burnout to come into your life. Where can you make changes? It's like saying, like, this is not something to be ignored, Scorpio. Like, this sense of burnout is something to pay attention to. It's happening for a reason, and we don't want it to start to manifest in terms of physical illness. You're really being asked to take really good care of yourself and be gentle and kind and be fascinated and playful with these energies, as opposed to really doing the hard line of getting caught up in the fear and worry of it. Wow, that's a lot happening there for Scorpio. It's very much about you during this time period, Scorpio. I mean, certainly it can manifest in terms of individuals showing up, someone coming up, showing up in the form of this energy of bringing your life into balance, someone who represents that for you, if it's an individual. All of these energies can show up as people or as just energies or circumstances, but what you're getting better and better at doing here and being asked to continue to work on and look at, Scorpio, is how they show up energetically for you, because it's a general reading and it's going to be different for everybody and how these energies show up. But the common theme, no matter who is listening to the reading, is going to be the energy, the energy of balance, the energy of reciprocity, the energy of peace and serenity, the energy of fear and worry, and placing something outside of yourself as being the missing piece of the puzzle that will make you finally happy and whole and complete. You're already whole and complete. The energy of burned outness, that probably won't show up as an individual, but in terms of these major arcana cards, it could, right? All right, let me get one more card for you from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, Scorpio. And I'll get some additional cards on the ego as well. But I do see, as I look at the codependency card here for you, Scorpio, that she is kind of looking kind of towards the past, even though she's in the present position. So it's almost as if she's kind of saying, you know what, I kind of miss this sense of playfulness here. I miss this sense of joy and serenity, kind of like when you were a child, Scorpio, and you didn't have the fear and worries that you are focusing in on now. And I kind of feel like she's doing that here. So there's a lot of energy for you here, and a great opportunity, Scorpio, to begin to come back to that sense of playfulness, that sense of joy and serenity that you had as a child. And that will bring the romance and the love that you're wanting into your vibratory field that much faster. But there is some work to do here. And we all have these issues that we work on at different times. It's just part of being human. One more card from the Tarot of Sexual Magic. The Nine of Pentacles. So this is really interesting energy for you because it's asking you, in this particular deck, it's not illustrated as much like this, but okay, so in this deck, it's illustrated as this gentleman, he's cutting a lock of her hair to take it with him, right? And why does he need to take it with him? He's taking it with him because he can't be with her. He wants to remember her, right? There's this idea of separation, coming together and then separating, very much kind of that ego energy, not actually being together. And they look very disheveled. They've had kind of a wild time, kind of an animalistic time. And he wants to remember her, and she's happy to, she's holding his heart in her hand. But there is this idea of separation here for you, Scorpio. And the reason I think it's coming in like this is that you're being asked that during the separation, you really do come back to this sense of taking care of yourself in a very real way, in the manifest way, with the foods that you eat, the beverages that you drink, how you take care of yourself. So that when you do come back together, because I do feel a separation happening here, you feel more in control of your body. It's about the body here for you, Scorpio. It's about the manifest world, the physical things, the things that you touch, sex, drugs, alcohol. All of that is very much about being of the earth, about being human. All of those things that come in that are very make us feel very embodied. They affect our body. And you're being asked to really, with this Nine of Pentacles energy, as I'm feeling it for you, Scorpio, to come back to self. Come back. It's not about the person you're with, right? that is part of the ego. It makes you feel good in the moment, right? It's fun. But then when they're gone, there's that sense of separation, that sense of kind of like a little bit of a shock. Like, why don't I have that right now? I need that now. I want that again. It's this kind of never, the ego is voracious. The ego never lets us rest. The ego always wants more, more, more. And I can promise you, Scorpio, that it's never about the relationship. It's always, always about how you feel about yourself inside. And that's what a lot of this energy is for you. This Nine of Pentacles, about taking care of yourself, being abundant even when you're alone and you're not with a partner in relationship. You're not relying on something else to make you feel good. It's about coming back to self, taking care of self. And you can put your fingertips to your heart chakra, Scorpio, and it's a very effective tool for getting you out of your ego, which is the card that's come up here, bringing you back to your heart, which is, your heart is who you are, and your ego, your mind, your linear conscious mind is what you use, right? And you're using it very effectively during this time period, but you're being asked here with this Nine of Pentacles to come back to your heart and remind yourself who you truly are. And you tell yourself, Scorpio, I love you, Scorpio. I love you. I accept you. I approve of you. I take care of you abundantly. I nurture you. I provide for you. I accept you. I approve of you. All of that, whatever words resonate with you. And it might feel kind of silly, but what it does is it reminds you of who you truly are. It brings you back to your heart. And then it helps your heart to open even more, which makes it feel as though your guides and angels are coming in even closer. And then you're more receptive to their guidance and their intuition, and in the form of intuition for yourself. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and get 3 cards on this ego. And then I'm going to close out your reading, Scorpio. A lot of messages in there for you, and it really is all about you right now, Scorpio, not about the partner. You're really being encouraged to take care of yourself. Ace of Summer, Four of Summer, Prince of Spring. So there's a lot of emotions going on with this ego card. It could be that there is an emotional experience that you are intuiting coming in, or that has already come in. It's about you opening your heart more and more to self, if it's not about an experience or an individual coming in. There is a little bit of sense of boredom as well with this ego card. Again, the ego is never satisfied. And so when you don't have that thing anymore, then you get bored and you want something else. And that kind of energy is still playing in here. And then we have the Prince of Spring energy, which could indicate a fire sign who's possibly involved with this egoic situation. It would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius individual. Doesn't have to be, though. And it also could just indicate for you, if it's not an individual, taking immediate action. Like, don't delay. This ego pattern that's involved here is... I feel like it's been around for a while, and you're really being asked to take action upon it, to begin to address it more and more, to bring yourself into balance here, because there's so much burnout that's occurring, and you're being really asked to pay attention to this, because it's, the pay attention to the red flags is looking right at the codependency, like, which would be the same as the ego card. Like, really pay attention to what's happening here. This is not a time to ignore this egoic pattern, is how it's feeling with this Prince of Spring. This Prince of Spring is really asking that you take action upon it, and that you can master this ego and manage it. It says a challenge you can successfully manage, and as well as a passionate relationship, possibly with a fire sign involved with this ego. So here you go. All right, I'm going to get one more card from the Mermaids and Dolphins, just because you are a water sign. And then I'm going to close out your reading, Scorpio. Let yourself receive. Oh, so beautiful. Allow others to give you loving care. Receive without guilt or apologies. This is all about the balance, right? Giving and receiving. The ego is all about putting forth energy, fear and worry, going out and taking something in the exterior world, bringing it in to make you feel whole and complete, to make you feel satisfied, to make you feel happy, whatever, right? And this is about let yourself receive. Open up to your divine feminine, regardless of whether you are masculine or regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. The divine feminine and the divine masculine, we hold both energies within us. And this is about more of the divine feminine, about being open and receptive, knowing that everything is available to you. Unconditional love is always available to us. everything we want is available to us. We're just either open to it a little bit or a lot, right? And the Divine Feminine is about opening up, having faith, having trust, having that sense of playfulness. It's all indicated here for you so beautifully, Scorpio. I love this card for you. It's just another way of getting the message across to you in a more gentle kind of and visual way. You know, it's very calming, this card. It's just really, really nice for you. I hope I was able to explain those messages as they came in as clearly as possible. And the fact that it came in again in this way is just confirmation for you, Scorpio, that this is the work that you're meant to be doing during this time period, regardless of who's involved or who's not. So, okay, I hope you find that helpful, Scorpio. I wish you much love as always, and I will see you on the next video or at your private reading.